Nobody talks about this. Not all rich people live the same life. Some rich people wake up excited. Some wake up terrified. Some have financial freedom. Some have millions and still feel poor. Some have wealth. Some have status. Some have peace. And surprisingly, those are not the same thing. If you've ever wondered about money, wealth, financial freedom, success, rich people, millionaire habits, building wealth, or what life is really like after making money, this video is for you. Because today, we're going to explore something most people never think about. Not how to become rich, but what happens after you get there. Because the truth is, money doesn't create one type of person. It reveals who you already are. And the type of rich person you become may determine whether wealth becomes your freedom or your prison. Let's begin. Type 1, the survivor rich. Imagine two people, both have $5 million, same bank balance, same financial security, same opportunities, yet one sleeps peacefully, the other checks their accounts 20 times a day. Why? Because wealth changes your circumstances, but it doesn't automatically change your mind. Meet the survivor rich. This person grew up around uncertainty. Maybe there wasn't enough money, maybe bills were stressful, maybe life felt unstable. And because of that, their brain learned one lesson: never let your guard down. Years later, they succeed. Money arrives, success arrives, freedom arrives. But mentally, they're still preparing for disaster. Every investment feels risky. Every expense feels dangerous. Every economic headline feels personal. And from the outside, they look wealthy. But internally, they still feel like they're fighting to survive. I once heard a story about a businessman who built an incredible company. He became wealthy, the kind of wealthy most people dream about. Yet, every morning, before even saying good morning to his family, he checked his financial accounts. Not because he needed to, because he couldn't stop. His money had grown. His fear had not. And that's the first lesson. Money can solve financial problems. It cannot automatically solve emotional ones. Here's what's fascinating. Many people think becoming rich automatically creates confidence. Sometimes it creates the opposite, because now you have something to lose. Type 2, the status rich. Now let's meet someone completely different. This person isn't trying to survive. They're trying to be seen. And honestly, most of us understand this more than we'd like to admit. Because humans naturally care about status, we notice who gets attention, who gets respect, who seems successful. The status-rich person builds their identity around that feeling. The luxury car, the designer clothes, the expensive watch, the first-class flights, the social media photos, the perfectly curated lifestyle. And for a while, it feels amazing. People notice, people admire, people compliment. But then something strange happens. The excitement fades because the human brain adapts. The luxury car becomes normal. The expensive house becomes normal. The impressive lifestyle becomes normal. And suddenly, they need something bigger, something newer, something more exclusive. Not because they need it, because they need the feeling it provides. The problem with status is that there's always someone richer, always someone younger, always someone more impressive. It's a race without a finish line. Type 3, the freedom rich. Now let's talk about the rich people almost nobody notices, because they don't look rich. In fact, you've probably walked past them before. The freedom rich person uses money differently. Instead of buying attention, they buy options. Instead of buying status, they buy time. Instead of impressing others, they design their life. They value mornings without alarms. They value flexibility. They value choosing how to spend their days. And that's a completely different relationship with money. Because for them, wealth is not about what they own. It's about what they don't have to do. They don't have to work with toxic people. They don't have to stay in situations they hate. They don't have to trade every hour for survival. That freedom is invisible, but incredibly valuable. Imagine two people. One earns $50,000 a month. The other earns $15,000 a month. Most people assume the first person is richer. But what if the first person works 90 hours a week and the second works 15? What if the second person spends every afternoon with family? What if they can travel whenever they want? Suddenly, the definition of wealth starts changing. Quick question. Which type of rich person would you actually want to become? The status rich, the survivor rich, or the freedom rich? Pause for a second and think about it. And if you're enjoying this deeper side of money, success, financial freedom, and personal growth, make sure you subscribe. Because most people learn how to earn money. Very few learn how to live with it. Now let's continue. Type 4, the lonely rich. This one is rarely discussed, and yet it might be the most emotional. Because money changes relationships. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it's subtle. A friend starts acting differently. A relative suddenly has expectations. People assume your life is easy. People assume you have endless resources. People assume you don't have problems anymore. And slowly, a strange question appears. Do they care about me? Or do they care about what I can provide? That's a difficult question, because once it enters your mind, it changes how you see people. The lonely rich person often has plenty of money, but they miss certainty. They miss knowing who truly loves them. They miss simple relationships. And that's something wealth cannot purchase. People often think money creates distance. Sometimes uncertainty creates distance. Type 5, the addicted rich. At first, they wanted security, then success, then freedom, then everything changed, because money became a game, a very addictive game. Every new milestone felt exciting. Every achievement created a rush. Every financial win created a temporary high. But like most highs, it didn't last. So they chased another one, then another, then another. Eventually, they stopped asking, how much is enough? And started asking, how much more can I get? Those questions led to very different lives, because one seeks freedom, the other seeks endless expansion. And endless expansion is exhausting. Imagine climbing a mountain. You think reaching the top will make you happy. Then you arrive, and someone points to a taller mountain, so you start climbing again. Years pass, decades pass, you keep climbing. Eventually you realize you spent your whole life chasing peaks without enjoying the view. Type 6, the peaceful rich. This might be the rarest type, not because it's difficult, because it requires something society rarely encourages: enough. The peaceful rich person understands a powerful truth. More is not always better. Sometimes more creates stress, more responsibilities, more distractions, more complexity. Instead of endlessly expanding, they focus on enjoying relationships, enjoying experiences, enjoying health, enjoying life. They still value money, but they refuse to worship it. And that's an important distinction. The richest feeling in the world might simply be contentment. Type 7, the legacy rich. Something interesting happens when people accumulate enough wealth. Their focus often shifts. They stop asking, what can money do for me? And start asking, what can money do after I'm gone? That's where the legacy rich begin. They build businesses, create opportunities, support causes, help communities, teach future generations. Their wealth becomes bigger than themselves because they realize something profound. Money is temporary. Impact can be permanent. Think about the people who changed history. Many are remembered not because of how much money they had, but because of what they built, what they contributed, what they left behind. That's legacy. The final type, the truly wealthy. Now we've arrived at the most interesting type, the truly wealthy, because surprisingly, they're not defined by net worth. They're defined by balance. They have money, but money doesn't control them. They have ambition, but ambition doesn't consume them. They have goals, but goals don't prevent them from enjoying today. They understand that wealth has many forms: financial wealth, time wealth, health wealth, relationship wealth, emotional wealth. And if one of those is missing, the picture is incomplete. So here's the question. Which rich person are you becoming? Because one day, if you continue working hard, if you continue growing, if you continue building your life, money may eventually arrive. But when it does, what kind of person will be there waiting for it? The fearful one? The status seeker? The lonely one? The addicted one? The peaceful one? The freedom seeker? The legacy builder? Or the truly wealthy? Because perhaps the ultimate goal isn't becoming rich. Perhaps the ultimate goal is becoming someone who can handle wealth without losing themselves. Someone who can enjoy success without being consumed by it. Someone who can make money without making money their identity. Because at the end of life, people rarely wish they had spent more time earning. They wish they had spent more time living. And maybe true wealth is learning how to do both. If this video connected with you, leave a comment and tell me, which type of rich person do you want to become? And remember, some people have money, some people have freedom, some people have peace. The luckiest people find a way to have all three.